Hi, my name is Stacey J and I am here to talk to you about how to shorten sleeves of a jacket or a coat. If you'd like to hear more about this or how I go about doing this, please stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Let me know you care and I will show you how I do the sleeves on coats, jackets, etc. Okay.
It's Tuesday, tutorial here with Stacey J. Come into my studio where I love to play. I hope that it helps you to pick up something new, to watch more, subscribing in what you do. Please subscribe, like and share. Hit the notification if you care. Drop me a comment to let me know you're there. It's Stacey J Studio today. Come sew with me, come sew with me. Come sew with me, come sew with me. Come sew with me, come sew with me. Sewing all day and all night.
Hi, I'm Stacey J and this is my studio. Welcome if you're new and welcome to anybody that has been watching me for some time. Firstly, I want to shout out to all those lovely people that have popped some money into my Ko-Fi account to purchase for donations for my sewing journal. Okay, not my sewing journal, but my sewing journal, which means it's your sewing journal. So again, if you would like a copy of that, just let me know, pop some a donation in the Ko-Fi account. It also does actually come up with your email address, so you don't need to annotate that if you didn't want to. It comes up in a private area for me. But yes, I'd like to definitely shout out because I want to make sure that these do get used. I'm watching you all. To Anne and Evelyn and Barbara and Deborah and Sandra and Jacinta and Michelle. Michelle, I might have accidentally sent yours on a different email to what you suggested, so I've sent you two. Let me know you got it. Okay, so today is Tuesday, and sometimes on a Tuesday, today is Tuesday? Yes, it is Tuesday. I have just driven out to the airport, and I'll probably throw in the airport trip there and back for funsies. Anyway, and I've just had a client come through. Now, the client has a young girl who is 11. I believe that was the age we've got given. And she's just starting school. Now, at her school, she has to wear a blazer. Now, blazers are a lot of money. So I have a tendency to make sure I leave, especially for her age, because she's a girl, and her growing stint will be from about now until about 15 maximum is when they hit the end of their growth life, unlike a boy who starts at 14. So on either case, I'll go on to that growth spurt age group and I will make sure I leave sufficient roll down. So if it's a bit big in the shoulders, which will be good, because as they grow up, or they'll fill out the shoulders, but their sleeves will come down to there because we've shortened them. So I like to leave a bit. Now, have you ever had a ready-to-wear jacket or blazer that you needed to shorten the sleeves because your arms are petite? It is quite an easy task to do. So I want to show you how to get into your blazer if you don't know, and how you can make it perfect to fit your body. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if a blazer or a jacket fits you in the sleeves, it looks like it fits you. Okay, even if the shoulders are too big, okay, you don't want it ridiculously big, because then it won't. But you can also make it the style you're going for, like back in the 80s when the shoulder pads were out here and your body was in here. Remember that? If you don't remember that, shh, you're too young. No, you're not too young, I'm just kidding. But remember that. And so that was the make of it. So I have actually got a few men's jackets from clients that I've had to take the sleeve down. The good thing with the sleeve of the blazers for school is they do not actually have the buttons in the sleeve. So it makes the actual cut down period or the actual alteration a heck of a lot faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through how I alter these, so that if you have a blazer that you love it, but it's just, you feel a little bit like you got your father's jacket on, you can pull up the sleeve and it will be a heck of a lot better. So the only things you kind of need is an unpicker, because you got to get in that sucker. Good idea to have some interfacing, because we want to re-interface where the cuffing is going to be, and your measurements and matching thread and a little bit of knowledge. I think that's all we need. Maybe a marker, whether it's be chalk or an erasable pen, just a marker that we want to put our lines on so that we can do that. Now I have got to take about 10.5 centimeters off, which is 4 and a bit inches, something like that, okay, off this particular jacket sleeve. So I want to leave it, she's got about that much growth in the shoulders to go, so I want to leave it quite a bit longer. So I'm going to, although I'm going to sew it, I'm also going to split it, because a sleeve actually channels down, as you know, unless it's a fancy sleeve, and it will go straight or out depending, but we're talking about the channeling down sleeve. So obviously the bottom of the sleeve is narrower than the sleeve itself, and we're whacking off 4 inches. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you how to get into it. Right, so here's your blazer. I've just covered up the uniform, the school name. Okay, now you have a left sleeve and a right sleeve, and in the left sleeve you will find, so this is actually a bagged lining, which means that it's attached all the way around. Okay, it's all the way around, which is what a blazer normally has when you buy it off the rack. Now in the left hand sleeve, when you turn it in the wrong way, you will see the stitching on the outside. Now this is something you do with your bags. If you've sewn bags, you know this for a fact. Of course, I told you to have an unpicker and I did not bring one with me. Best I do that. I'm just going to bring my cup of tea, because my cup of tea is gone cold. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to unpick this. Okay, so once I've got that open, I can get inside the jacket all over it, over the whole entire thing. So one of the things I do like to do before I unattach the jacket, the lining from the sleeves, is I like to put a little pin in where it is. Now I've just got my hand inside this hole, and I'm going in deep yole. Okay, so I'm turning this chicken inside out. Now it can be a fiddle. I've done this a million times. Used to shorten sleeves all the time and lengthen them. So you can lengthen them this way as well. There's always a substantial, I wonder what that was. It was the cover of the blazer pocket, so you couldn't see. Might take that off because I don't want the pin to thingo it while it's inside out. You can't see who it's for, can you? So I'm just pulling all this out, because that's what we want. We want it inside out. You can do it with just the sleeve coming out, but I'm going to give it to you full throttle here. So we've got our sleeves pulled out. Here's one sleeve. That sleeve is not pulled out properly. There we go, pulled out properly now. Right, so we've got one sleeve and the other. Now, the sleeve is usually attached with the lining attached up to the top of the seam. So when it folds out, and you notice there's some interfacing here, that's to give the structure to the base of the sleeve. And we're going to undo this bit here. And I'm going to basically unhook all the bits that are hooking it up, which is actually just those two bits. I'm actually surprised that this isn't attached to this. There is a shed load of fabric from the fold up. Okay, you don't actually need to keep that if this is something for you, but it's also something mindful of the people that made the clothing to know that everyone doesn't have long arms. Okay, as much as some garments come out really long, not all of us are long. So I'm just going to unpick that and straighten out both of my sleeve. Okay. It took its time. It's fraying a lot, so I just didn't want to split where I was going to might needed to have. I mean, look at that, that's frayed out. So the next step we want to do is mark our 10 centimeters. Now I'm going to do it in the sleeve that is still fully attached to the lining, not the one that I had to split the sleeve. So basically what I am doing is the right hand sleeve. Now this has also got an attachment up here. Right, if I just make sure, and this is going to, when you take the lining off at the end, because that's what we're going to do, because we've got a fair chunk of fabric that we've got to fold into the fold, and as I want to keep a lot of it back, so when she grows, I can let it back down for her. Now, I will be separating the lining from the sleeve, and I always like to maintain a position where I know it's attached to the right part of the sleeve. So sometimes when you join your sleeve back in at the cuff, it's twisted. And ask me how I know that. So about there, where that is where I'd stick a safety pin into the lining, so it kept that part of the lining caught, and I wouldn't be double guessing myself and throwing on a size 10 jacket, and I mean girls 10. Nothing about this is a size girls 10. Just saying. So I'm next going to do is I'm going to unpick my cuff from my lining on, I'm just going to do one side at a time, and so I can show you, and we'll go from there. Let's unpick. So now that we've peeled back, sorry, I should put you back down there. We've peeled off the lining, and we know that this is where the fold line was. Okay, so basically what we want to do is we want our new fold line to be 10.5 centimeters from that fold line. So I like to do my little markings. So there's my 10.5, that's the fold line. There's my 10.5, and that is the fold line. And let's do our little. Okay, so that's our fold line. Now this is extra long. It's usually about 4, maximum 5 centimeters. It's currently sitting at 8 centimeters. And why it's at 8 centimeters, like I said, is if, say, the person who's wearing this, size 10 girls, is a very tall girl, they need to add extra length to the sleeve. I don't know why they would, but they would, because I don't think anyone that's a size 10 girls has arms that long. So we want to at least have a 8 centimeter So we want to be able to take it up and leave another 4 centimeters. Sorry, take it down and leave another 4 centimeters. So if we take it down to our 4 centimeter cuff, which we would fold up, that's giving us not much for her to grow. So we want to give it another 4 centimeters. So we want to drop down from this line 8 centimeters. Okay. And we're going to just make sure that you're always in the view. So we want to mark it. Okay. So we basically want to disperse of this area. Notice there's absolutely no cuffing left on that area. So what we want to do now, and you can do it a couple of ways. You can either splice it out open, which I'll probably do, splice open the 2 areas, chuck on some interfacing and then sew them back up. And then I will make it a cuff. So sorry, I forgot what I was going to say then. So if we measure from here where we're folding up, that is approximately 15.5 centimeters, and we fold it up. I might fold that in half and then fold it up, and that's 17. So we're like about 2 centimeters in difference in folding this up to here. Okay, so there you go. That's where we've got to do it. So that's where I would split to there, back tack, split to there, sorry, and back tack it so it can't be undone, and then that will open up and go to the girth of that sleeve width. That was just a spare pair of glasses that I use when I'm unpicking dark fabrics on dark cottons and white on white. So like I said, we're going to trim that off, open them up, sorry, and I'm going to, so if I've done that for there, and that's the fold line. Now this is going to be slightly different, but I usually take off the same amount I take off the sleeve, because it should leave the same amount of dispersion. And that is my big word for the day, dispersion. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to unpick down there. I'm going to cut off where I want to cut off. I did forget to say scissors when I said get your stuff. And then I'm going to sew up halfway. So I'll sew up halfway about here, so that when I put it through, that's good. So what I normally do is I actually put a nick in here, but it's fraying like a beast, and I don't really want to do that because I'm scared it's going to over fray itself. Afraid not. See how you normally do a little notch in there. Okay, so I've got my white chalk. I'm pretty happy with that. Right, so I'm going to get unpicking, and I'll come back to you once that is unpicked and stripped down to there. Once you have sewn up your sleeve, okay, so it's now to begin. We've got those little lines which we had. Now you, like I said, you normally clip it, but I don't want to clip this over fraying piece of cloth. Love how they put the expense in the jacket now and give you crap cloth. Right, so we're going to now, where that line is, we're going to fold it there, and this then gets sewn. Sometimes I run it all the way up the seam, so the outer seam is with the outer. No, it's not. It's going to go in. Right. I will just iron this. One sec. Hey, I'm back. Right. So we've got that. Let's pretend it's clipped. I don't want to clip it. Gone through that saga. So I just put my thumbnail there. My pretty thumbnail. My blingy ding a ding. So we want to get this and we want to pull it back and line up that seam allowance with that seam allowance. I'm going to put a pin in it. Now normally I do this all at the machine, but however I'm not. So then I would put a little join up there, and that will then fold into that position. So while I've got that one pinned, this one obviously is even muntier. Right, we're going to go to this area here. I'm going to pull it up here. Don't forget, I want you to go a little bit wide. to make it not as tight where the narrow meets the join. Right, so you could put a basting stitch, hand base stitch in here if you wanted. If you can do it by the machine, why not, right? So you basically want to sew up and that will hold. Right, so also it's got the nice interfacing on it, so it's going to be nice and firm. So I'm going to sew that up, and then we're going to come and tackle the lining. It's looking a bit weird, but then we open it up, and there it is. Pretty cool, huh? It makes it seem like she's got no arms at all. Okay, so there's her sleeve so far. Now if you have a look at this, the lining, now that's attached there, so that seam belongs with that seam. Look how much we've got there going on. All right, so from that seam, I'd probably take off 10 centimeters. I'd mark up 10 centimeters probably, sorry. And I would, now don't forget, when you let the sleeve down, you also have to have a substantial amount of lining, otherwise it won't meet. Okay, so if I let this down 4 centimeters, I've got to be able to let that down 4 centimeters, otherwise we are stuffed. Okay, so I always get worried when it's like 10 centimeters. I go, oh, have I taken off too much? Anyway, so basically we want it to meet here, right? Because that is there and it's sewn there, I've lost my piece of chalk. There she is. Well, she blues. I'll pull it down nice and tight like a tiger. And that's where we don't want that anywhere near there. So let's have a quick measurement of what we are doing with this. So if we went up 10.5 centimeters, that's where the fold line should be. Okay, so it'd be here. And as you can see, that will fold there. And then we want to come down, like I said, 8 centimeters. Keeping it the same, but making it different. So we're up 3 centimeters from the crease. Let's do it on the other side. The good thing is if I have stuffed up, which, you know, I get paranoid about, 3 centimeters here, is that I've got an ample amount to take it back down. Yes. Well, let's just do the 3 centimeters here because of this undersleeve. Doesn't make it hold. And that's there, 3 centimeters there. I know what I like when I have a client that has dogs. And this lady had dogs. So if I cut that off, I then have to make sure that my edging is with that, because if it's not with that, then it's going to come down below the sleeve, and we don't want that. Okie dokie. So that will fold up. I know what I'm saying. That will fold up to there, and that will sit there. Now you can put a tack and give it a pull up, and it will give it more flounderingness inside the jacket. But we're good, actually. I might eraldite. That is so not straight, Stacey Joanne. 3 centimeters here. Yeah, look at that. 3 centimeters here. So that's right. So that's where we want to cut it. So that's 3 centimeters. Let's just do that over the side too. I should have, you know, ironing it, but don't forget, I don't want to iron that crease out. This is the crease I don't want to iron out. I often, as I did with the main sleeve, I often put, see, that would just hang down. I often put a chalk line in my fold. So much easier to see and to measure from. Okay, so that's where we want to cut it off. So, where's my scissors? Hello. Hello. So I'm going to cut across here, snip it in. Ugh. jeepers. There we go. Okay, Mabel is on the front doormat, making it comfortable for her to lay on, which irritates me because she's scratching the vajingas out of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fix up my stitching here, because that will come apart, and my stitching here, and then I'm going to come back and show you the specky way we sew them together. Specky. Oh, it's been 5 minutes, sorry. Now, if any part was going to be the tricky part, this is the tricky part. And it's only tricky because sometimes you overthink it. Sometimes I overthink it, okay? So that's the only reason I say that. I'm not saying that anyone's delusional or anything like that, just sometimes I overthink it. Let's go down. Now, we want right sides together, okay? Currently, they're both inside out. Folded that back, that's in the right way. So this is the seam. This is the seam that belongs with that seam, but it's the wrong side. So I fold it back, join my seam, and then I slip this entire thing over the top. This is why it's always good to know so this is the seam and this is the seam here, so that goes there and that goes over the top. Right, see, that's marrying up with that seam, that's marrying up with that seam. So now I get my seams together. See how, remember how it's got the split going on? We're happy with that, it gives it room. So put a couple of pins in. Here's the other seam and the other seam, okay. Put a pin in, turn the sieve around again. I really hope I'm getting it in here for you guys. Right, so the next step we want to do, so I always untangle it too because it gets all tangled up. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to sew all the way around here to attach the lining back to the sleeve. So I just put it under the sewing machine. Okay, be back. And here we have it attached. Oops, I'll take that pin out because I've never left a pin in something before. So what I'm going to do is turn our little inside out chicken back in the right way. So here's my little hole. Remember, we haven't touched the other sleeve. Don't think I need to torment you through both sleeves. Okay, found my little gap. This is the fun part. You've got I have sat there before in after doing a military jacket in sheer frustration because I just cannot make it work, and it's hilarious because I know it works, you know. So the first thing I normally grab is I find the collar and pull the collar out. It's one of the bulkiest things to pull out the smallest hole in the world. Okay, and then I'll pull the jacket out like this, nice and steady. Don't forget, this seam is this hole in this jacket is where your hole should be if you do bagging. Some men's jackets have it in both sides because they are actually tailored in the shoulder, and the shoulders are capped in and sewn in, so you have to get into the sleeve from both sleeves. Right, now let me just find this pocket with its school name on it, and I will put this back on top. Right, you'd think I'd pause it just so that you can't see, hey? I've just sort of got it out of your way. I'll just move it over here because that's easier rather than trying to hide it. Have a look at my nice white table. That's not really white, that's stuff I put on it. I'm not having much luck with this piece of paper either. It's only because I'm showing you guys something. And if you do know how to do this, I'm really apologetic for you sitting through this. I know you'll just probably fast forward anyway and go somewhere else. Right. Right, here we go. Our sleeve is the right hand sleeve. It's still inside out. So we pull it in the right way. Pop our little hand in it. Tutu around a bit. And it's all in there. It's not twisted. Okay, and the lining does come down a little bit, but it's not pulling on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press it. I'm going to stick it on my blue mani, okay, and I'm going to show you the difference in the sleeve length. I will possibly go back in and capture the lining up a little bit so it doesn't fall past the edge, okay. But first I'll press it and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. Okay, here's the jacket. Taken a substantial amount off the sleeves, so now she will look like it fits her. So I'm pretty happy with that, because all we need to do is make those sleeves a good length and we will have a jacket that looks like it fits her. There you go. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll do the second sleeve and I'll show you what it looks like when I've finished. Okay, so I have done the second sleeve. All good. I did a quick measure up to make sure they were all even. I had to move my hole because my hole had, obviously it was encroaching on where I needed to add the sleeve to. You can see I've added that's just the little old seam in that. I have nailed up my lining a little bit more so it only comes down this far. Okay, I have still bagged, okay, and I just wanted to come with you guys, and this is how we're going to. I'm just going to lift it up a little bit, hopefully. I accidentally hit the switch off or call the emergency department. Right, so here's my gap. You guys know how to do this. It's not rocket science. This is the last stretch of it. I'd like to think I could do rocket science, but I cannot. I cannot. Okay, so I just pop it under the foot. Make sure my two edges are together. Okay, and I just do a back tack. I throw it onto a bigger stitch because this is where we're going to go back in later when she grows a bit. Okay, and then she can keep wearing her uniform. Say she, because I'm not going to say her name, and keep wearing her uniform. And a little bit of green, a little bit of Monica. Okay, so there we go. All sorted. And I'm going to put that on my mannequin and show you just how tidy and neat that looks. Right, I have done both sleeves. I have got it here. It's looking fancy Nancy, and I will flip you around and I will show you it. So that's how easy it is to make your jacket look smart. So it now comes up to her wrists, a little bit big in the shoulders, of course, because she's little, but she's not going to look like her jacket's too big for her because her sleeves are the right length. Cool. Okay, thank you. I'll actually flip you around first. There we have it. Okay, I've measured by the inside seam there, just that inside seam down there. I measured that to make sure that it was the same length, which they are, which is fandiddly-tastic. That always is awesome. I did measure the same amount off. It's more that sometimes you know. Right, that's it. That is how you do it. It looks flash like that, or that's how I do it. If you wanted to know how I do it, we used to have to do it all the time with military uniform, and there is enough inside there to extend it out too. So you just do the opposite. You add on to what you need to add on. I usually take the tape measure from the, say if it's up here and I need it down to here, I take the tape measure while it's on them, and measure it down to, it's usually the guys that needed it extended, and take it down to where they needed it to sit, and then you just take that down in the opposite direction. That you would not have to actually split the lining from the fabric because you just rejig that tacking onto the seam. There you go. That is how you can shorten the sleeves of your coat, jacket, even your coats, to be honest, because it still should have the left hand sleeve. If you don't want to turn the whole thing inside out, the other thing you can do is split the lining in the sleeve that doesn't have it, so it would be the right hand sleeve. Split the lining in there, turn it inside out, work your magic there, flip it back in the right way, and then once you've done your left hand sleeve, go back through, just pull out the sleeve, sew it up on the inside, and Bob's your uncle. Or just sew it up on the outside. Nobody looks in your sleeves. That is why that little hole is in there for the taking. Okay, so in the meantime, guys, I would like you to stay well and take care. I want you to keep on sewing, hydrate, have no regrets, and I hope you've learned something today. If not, I'm sorry. Okay, save face this summer, and I'll catch you guys next time I'm looking at you.
Subscribe, like, and share, just to let me know that you care.